Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jill Nagy Reynolds, and I am with the SBA Columbus District Office. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We are pretty much knee deep into our webinar training series as a part of the Ohio Business Matchmaker. This afternoon, we will be focusing on doing business with the Air Force. It's always an honor to have such experienced small business professionals from the Air Force with us. Just a couple of logistical things before I get started, or we get started. So if you have questions throughout the training, if you could just put it into the Q&A. I will be monitoring that during the webinar. So I will find an appropriate time to ask a question to our presenters. And if you could make sure to turn off your audio and your video during the presentation, that would be helpful. So we are going to hear from three different presenters. We're going to hear from Joey Scott from Ohio Apex Accelerators. We're going to hear from Jeff Malott, who is the Director of Small Business Programs at Air Force Materiel Command, and Luke Schultz, who is the Director of Small Business Programs at the Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. So very honored to have them. Also keep in mind, if you are new to the Ohio Business Matchmaker, it is an opportunity for small businesses to meet with federal, state, and local government agencies one-on-one. This will be our 17th year having the Ohio Business Matchmaker, and it will be at the Nutter Center in Dayton, Ohio. Without further ado, I'll get us started. I'm going to introduce Joey Scott. He is the Ohio Apex Accelerator statewide manager at the Office of Small Business and Global Trade. He's going to talk to us about Apex Accelerators. Go ahead and go, Joey. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Jill. As you heard, I'm Joey Scott. I'm the statewide director for our Apex Accelerator program here in Ohio. Hopefully all of you are familiar with that, but if not, a little introduction to who we are and what we do. We're funded in part by the Department of Defense and the state of Ohio to help businesses with all things government contracting. And so I like to put our services into three buckets of becoming procurement ready, experiencing procurement success, and kind of the catch-all of staying in the government marketplace. So first bucket, becoming procurement ready, that's helping companies on the front end to position themselves for success, whether that is getting registered to sell to the federal government or state agencies or local. We can help you through all of those registrations, helping you explore business certifications and if they make sense for you. In fact, just this morning, the Matchmaker webinar this morning was on federal and state business certifications. So if you missed that, the recording will be made available soon. But we can also help you find opportunities through different connections, through our bid search software, through events like the Ohio Business Matchmaker, and conducting your own research. And we can help with that from some of the tools that we have at our disposal. Second bucket here, experiencing procurement success. So once you've found an opportunity that you want to respond to, we can help you through that whole process. The only thing we cannot do is write your proposal. We are not an agent of your company. And so what we can do, though, is critique your proposal to help you ensure it's as competitive as possible before you submit it. Once you have won an award, we can help you on the post-award side of things through invoicing and talking strategy of how to leverage one win into multiple wins. And then our third bucket here is the catch-all, just helping you understand compliance things, helping you understand how to stay in the marketplace. If you're a federal contractor, something as simple as realizing you need to renew your SAM registration each year. And that sounds simple, but personnel changes, things happen. Sometimes that falls to the wayside. So helping clients through that. And then to more complex things, such as defense cybersecurity requirements. And then also helping you look at other opportunities to pursue, whether it's with other agencies at federal, state, or local level, or innovation opportunities as well. We host plenty of training events all year long on different topics to raise awareness for things such as foreign ownership, control, and influence, cybersecurity regulations, innovation, etc. And we're proud to partner with so many amazing people across the country and across different agencies. So, we are always looking to connect our clients with opportunities, whether that be through networking or contracts themselves. So, we partner with the SBA and Jill and her team. We partner with Jeff and his team and Luke, and we've been doing this for many, many years. And such an honor to have amazing allies and resource partners. In Ohio, Apex Accelerator, we like to innovate ourselves. So we have some programs that we offer in collaboration to Apex. We have our internship program that trains students on the basics of government contracting, and then they will intern over the summer with Apex clients to apply that knowledge and help them further their government contracting focus. We also, I'll be adding a slide at one point here. We also have our cybersecure program here in Ohio, which provides free cybersecurity consulting to Ohio small businesses. And we have a track on just general cybersecurity and also a track for defense contracting. So another program that you can take advantage of. And this slide is just to showcase how we are here to help every step of the way. So with that, I tried to keep that a little short. We're very proud of our clients. Last year, they won over $1.6 billion, most of that being prime federal work here in Ohio. And there's an Apex Accelerator near you. So with that, I will turn it back over to Jill.
Thank you so much, Joey. I appreciate it. I am going to next introduce Jeff Malott. He is the Director of Small Business Programs with the Air Force Materiel Command Small Business Office. Wonderful to have you, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. And I'm going to now share my slides,
All right.
presentation, and you should see
Perfect.
those now. Okay, good.
Very good.
Okay, very good. Okay, so as Jill mentioned, I'm the Director of Small Business Programs for Air Force Materiel Command. And what's important, I'm just on this very first slide as you're looking at it, is the way that we spell material. And by the way, if I look over here, it's because my presentation is showing on my screen here. So apologies for that. But it's how we spell material. And it's spelled with an E. And so Air Force Materiel Command. And material means military material. And what is military material for the Air Force? Well, that's aircraft, weapon systems, propulsion systems, munitions for those systems, all the drones. So any of the Air Force platforms that you're aware of, and when I say platforms, I mean um, aircraft, for instance, like the F-22, the C-17, the new bomber, the B-21, the new tanker, KC-46, the new Air Force One that's being built and delivered. We buy it in this command. And I'll explain that a little further here as we go on. So I'm going to go to the next chart. And did it advance? Can someone just, because it's
It
going
says
slow.
mission and vision.
Thank you. Okay, so
Okay.
now I know it's working. Thank you. Okay, so as I mentioned, our command is Air Force Materiel Command, and it's we are headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base here in Dayton, Ohio, and we're having a weather warning. So if you hear that click or that little ping, that's what that is. I have to close it out. And so our mission is powering the world's greatest Air Force. We develop, deliver, support, and sustain war-winning capabilities. All those adjectives are very important to what we do, and I'll explain that further. And then our vision is one AFMC, collaborative, innovative, trusted, and empowered, indispensable to our nation, disruptive to our adversaries. And so, and as I go on here, you'll understand why that vision is important to us, because we're a very large organization, and so it's very important for us to be collaborative and innovative. as we deliver these capabilities to the mission, to our warfighters. So right here is just going to show you, as I mentioned, we have over 86,000 employees. Most of those are civilians, so we're very predominantly civilian workforce. And it's essentially because of what we do. We are really, we're doing the business and the sustainment of those weapon systems, and I'll go further into that. 41%, it's interesting on this chart, 41% of all Air Force civilians work within our command. So this is our leadership. Our leader is, our commander is General Duke Richardson. He's a 4-star general. Our deputy commander is Lieutenant General Linda Hurry, and she is a 3-star general. So, and Miss Lorna Estep is our executive director. Now, our command, because again, as we're predominantly civilian, we have a lead civilian. So Miss Estep is in what we call our top 3, and she is equivalent to a 3-star general. And then we have a command lead for our enlisted corps, which is Chief Master Sergeant James Fitch. So $80 billion we execute. And so 45% of the Air Force budget is executed by the command. What is interesting is if we only look at acquisition dollars that the Air Force has, then that number is actually over 70% is executed by the command. This is our strategic plan. And of course it says 2023, but it's still relevant, and we're still on course with this plan. And it's about delivering integrated capabilities. And so when I talk here a little bit more about that, how the command is structured, you'll understand why that integration and what we're doing to deliver that to the mission and the warfighter. And so that means integrate research, development, test, sustainment, support, and infrastructure to maximize readiness and lethality for each capability and across all capabilities. Okay. And you will see when we talk about research, development, test, sustainment, support, and infrastructure, you will see that in how our command is structured in the next chart. And of course, we have a strategic plan, lines of effort for strengthening our team, revolutionizing our processes. I will tell you that we are always focused, always have been, on how we can reduce our bureaucracy, and we want an amplifying warfighting culture. And what that really means is, because, as I mentioned, we're predominantly civilian. We're predominantly acquiring and executing and sustaining these platforms. We're not actually out there performing the Air Force mission. We're providing the material and those integrated capabilities in order for the Air Force mission to be executed. And so in this line of effort, it talks about how we connect more to the mission, so we have an understanding of that and the importance of that. Moving on to the next chart. So this is our structure, and this will help you really understand, how we develop systems and those platforms that I mentioned, those aircraft and other weapon systems, through our organizational structure. And it also gives you an understanding of why we are so large. And so first, starting off with, we really take it from that initial idea. So that's through Air Force Research Laboratory. And AFRL is if you may have heard of, they have operating locations, here in Ohio. They are also headquartered here at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, but we have labs in California, in New Mexico, Florida, New York, And so we have labs, and they focus on tech areas. We have their tech directorates, for instance, on space vehicles, on advanced materials. And so these are areas of interest, of course, for the Air Force as we develop the next generation of systems and aircraft and propulsion systems that ultimately, as you know, make their way into the commercial sector. So that's Air Force Research Laboratory. We take things from their basic idea all the way through their development to prototype. And importantly, within AFRL is where the Air Force Small Business Innovative Research Program is managed and executed through an organization called AFWorks. And so AFRL manages and executes the SBIR program, the SBIR Sitter program for the entire Air Force. Okay, and also just a quick note here, we call AFRL a One Lab, Two Services. So AFRL not only supports the Air Force, but also the Space Force. So within our command is AFRL, which then conducts research and development for both the Air Force and the Space Force. Then moving on, once something moves on beyond prototype, when we decide to acquire it, it transitions to Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. And we're going to hear in a moment here from Luke Schultz, who's the director of a small business for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. They are also headquartered here at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, but they also have locations at other bases throughout the country, AFMC bases, for instance, in Florida at Eglin Air Force Base in the Panhandle, and at Hanscom Air Force Base outside of Boston. And so Air Force Air Force Lifecycle Management Center acquires all those systems that I just talked about, okay? So the new KC-46 tanker, the B-21, all of those platforms, all the drones are acquired through AFLCMC, and they do that through program executive officer portfolios. And so we have these portfolios of programs and to make it easy, we have one called PEO, or Program Executive Officer for bombers. We have another one, PEO for fighters and advanced aircraft. Okay, so there's numerous PEOs with portfolios of weapon systems that they execute. They're like the CEO for that portfolio, and they execute the acquisitions necessary to acquire those platforms and to modernize those platforms and sustain those platforms. And so those, again, headquartered here at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, but with locations elsewhere in the country. And then, so as you know, as we acquire something, and what makes the Air Force and our military so impressive, right, is because our weapon systems work, right? And we do that because we ensure that through that rigorous testing process. So the next center there on the top right is Air Force Test Center. And so they're headquartered out in the desert of Southern California at Edwards Air Force Base. They also have a test range over the water in the Gulf of Mexico outside at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. And then we have the world standard wind tunnel facility and testing facility in Arnold Air Force Base in Tennessee. And so, again, if it's a propulsion system or any of these advanced aircraft or designs, right, they have to have wind tunnel testing, aerodynamic testing, and that is done at Arnold Air Force Base in Tennessee. So that's how we make sure things work, because we test them rigorously. So then once it's delivered in the inventory, it has to be sustained throughout its life cycle, and that's through Air Force Sustainment Center. And they're headquartered at Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma City, with locations at Ogden Air Force Base and Hill Air Force Base outside of Ogden, Utah, as well as Robbins Air Force Base south of Atlanta. And essentially, they do the sustainment or the depots, what we also refer to as our organic industrial base. that maintains these aircraft and weapon systems, propulsion systems, etc., throughout their life cycle. And I always say this, when you hear the B-52 has flown for 50 years, they're going to fly it 50 more, it's because of our depots. They keep those things operating. And so we have a very rigorous depot process. Much, the commercial aircraft you fly on also have depot processes. Keep aircraft safe and flying in flying condition. And then also they manage our supply chain. And you can only imagine the supply chain associated with Air Force systems. And so, again, they're headquartered at Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma City. Next center I'm going to address is Air Force Nuclear Weapons Center. And as with the other centers, they do what's in their title. Basically, they manage and execute our nuclear enterprise, the acquisition, modernization of our nuclear enterprises. And they're headquartered at Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico. And then finally, the last center, Air Force Installation and Mission Support Center. They do that infrastructure part of what I talked about there and the holistic of what the command executes. We manage and execute the infrastructure for Air Force and Space Force installations worldwide. Okay. And they do that. They manage that almost like it's done at a very high level of managing it like almost like it's a weapon system, right? And they look at those bases, our infrastructure priorities, and they not only are maintaining current infrastructure, make it easy, roads, landing, the airfields, the roofs, the HVACs, but also constructing the infrastructure needed from, let's say, for new weapon systems that are coming on that may need specific types of infrastructure in order to support the system. So that's Air Force Installation Mission Support Center, and they're headquartered at Joint Base San Antonio in Texas. So that's the command overall. And so now you can understand why we're so, the 80 billion and 80,000 people and what we are doing. It's quite the, well, it's a monumental mission, and we execute it every day. It's quite impressive. This is where we're located. I've already gone through that, but you can look at this. These charts will be available for you. We have small business directors at each one of those centers. So I'm at headquarters. And as I mentioned, you're going to hear from Luke. He's the second one listed there at Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. Those are the directors for all the other centers and their contacts. We also have a brochure. It's in here in the chart deck. And what it does is it gives you a summary of the command. And then also over here on the right side of this chart, it's showing you within that is points of contact at all of our bases for small business. And for instance, we're going to, like I said, for Luke, you'll see in here, he has subordinate small business directors at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida, at Hanscom Air Force Base outside of Boston, and at Maxwell Gunter Air Force Base in Alabama, and we give you their points of contact as well. So moving on, our program, our small business program, set a record last year in fiscal year 24 of over 10.3 billion. Super proud of that achievement of what we've been able to do and energize small business in meeting mission need and building our nation's industrial base. We also set records on our small disadvantaged business, our service disabled veteran-owned business, and our women-owned small business categories. We conduct every year a very, I think, super impactful and relevant collider season, what we call it. And this is where we're providing you as small businesses timely and relevant information on how to engage with us as AFMC and really even the broader Air Force, Department of the Air Force and Space Force, as well as DoD business opportunities, as well as the information and knowledge you need to know to do that. And many times we partner with the SBA and the Apex accelerators in doing that, but also many other partners come and participate and share lessons learned and experiential nuggets that they have learned, right, from how to engage and be successful in the DoD market sector. This was last year's, and I won't go over it. This is our lineup so far this year. We have one tomorrow called Crawl, Walk, Run, Engineering Success in the DoD Market. Jill is participating in that tomorrow. The remainder of the next one next week is 27 March, Cash is King, Payments and Vouchers in PI and WAWF. We've got all the people there to tell you about what happens within WAWF when you're invoicing, what are the common mistakes and pitfalls you need to avoid. We're actually going to also have a couple of contracting officers there to talk about what they see on their side of the system and what they recommend that small businesses do to improve invoices so they get through the system faster. So this is a great one coming up next on it. But there's the whole lineup, all of them super relevant. And so encourage you to there. We do them hybrid, in person, and with virtual capability. And right there, if you go to the AFRL Small Business Hub, that link down there, you can get signed up and register to attend. These are just how to identify some opportunities. We share, the Air Force has an expiring contract list. That's a great way to identify opportunities, is look at all the contracts that are expiring, because then typically we buy stuff again. And so, especially if you're offering a service. And so you can see where and who is buying that, so you can market yourself to them. We actually have an AFMC specific expiring contract list that I think even gives even more detailed information than the top link there. And you can ask for that at our workflow, afmc.sb.workflow@us.af.mil. Chelsea in my office, Chelsea McRae, monitors that, and just ask her for a copy and she'll send it to you. Also, if you're in construction, A&E, environmental, there's the AFCEC, Air Force Civil Engineering Center, task order list. They'll tell you what's coming up this year, what they're planning on buying and who's buying it, either the Air Force or the Army Corps. And then, of course, SIBR-SITR, you go to AFWorks. And so that is it. Any questions?
Thank you, Jeff. If anyone has any questions, please put them into the Q&A, and we can get to them right away.
Okay.
All right. And I don't see anything yet. So,
Okay.
oh, here comes one. Okay, will there be a copy of the presentation? Yes, the presentation will be available on the ohiobusinessmatchmaker.com website within 24 hours. And another question, will you send out the last two slides that have all of the links listed? The last two slides will also be on the Ohio Business Matchmaker website in 24 hours.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, very good. And let me just get that. Answer live. All right. Thank you so much, Jeff. I really appreciate it. I will. Oh, here's one in the chat. Okay. Thank you, Joey. Recordings and slides will be posted. Okay. And he put a link to the Ohio Business Matchmaker website in the chat. So thank you so much for that. All right, Jeff, thank you. And without further ado, I will now introduce Luke Schultz. Luke is the Director of Small Business Programs at Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. So very honored to have you here today as well. I do hear feedback from a phone. If everybody can just make sure that your lines are muted. All right, thank you. All right, Luke, go ahead and get started. Thank you.
Okay, great. Can you see my slides okay?
I can. Yep, thank you.
Okay, I'll go ahead and start. So once again, Luke Schultz, Director of Small Business Programs for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. Just want to thank Mr. Jeff Malott for kicking it off for us and giving us that excellent overview of Air Force Materiel Command with an E. So just have some slides to go over with you, some various information. Okay, this slide right here, we're headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Dayton, Ohio. In essence, what Mr. Malott was stating, Air Force Lifecycle Management Center, in essence, we manage those weapon systems from inception through retirement. We also have a very large base at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. We do things like operational construction. So we cover really what I like to tell people is truly the gamut of products, services, and we just touch so many different industries. Next thing is we're consist of mission execution directorates. So in the next slide, I'll go over some of those. Sometimes we refer to them as program executive officers for the various programs that we have. And then we also have enabling directorates, which is, for example, the small business office, contracting, finance. That final bullet down there, which shows the AFLCMC website, I would definitely recommend that you mark that and go to that website. There's a lot of great information that we've worked closely with public affairs to make sure you have vital information and when you're doing business with us. One piece of information for that is this chart here. When you go out to the website, you can click on the equal sign or the hamburger sign up in the left-hand top of the site. You can click on that. You can go to welcome, and then you can go to the organizations and then click it again, and it will list the mission execution directorates and the enabling directorates. So this gives a list of all the various mission execution directorates that we assist. The first one, AFSAC, that's more of a foreign military sales. Then the next one we have is armament, or what we know as PEO weapons, bombers, business and enterprise systems, combat readiness which is one of the newer PEOs that are out there. So each of these mission execution directorates, they have their own website, which it lists detailed information on the various divisions and programs they cover. So that's a lot of great information that's out there that then when you're looking to do business with us, you can do your research, you can go to the website, you can pull up information so you truly understand who may want to talk with you, how you can apply your product or service or solution to an Air Force lifecycle management requirement or solve a problem that we have. And then the last one I'd like to point out here, you can read through the list here, and I included the 2 letters, but like I said before, we also support operational contracting, which includes construction. We usually refer to that as the non-PO or non-program executive office, but a lot of requirements there. So please, before you reach out to us, make sure there's a lot of great resources out there to give you ample information on the various programs that we cover and just kind of get you used to what is Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. These next 2 charts that I'll be showing, this just shows the various POs that are out there: combat readiness, presidential and executive air power, mobility, bombers, fighters and advanced aircraft, ISR SOF, so your intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, and the special operation forces, PO weapons, training, propulsion. Then this next one includes, we also support command control and communications, battle management or C3BM, cyber and networks, electronic systems, and then business enterprise systems. So recently, within the last year or so, we've had some realignment amongst the various PEOs. So make sure you go out to the website and look at the information that's shared out there. And if you have anything else that you would like us to share, please send an email to me so we can provide the information that's necessary that makes it easier to do business with Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. So what our office does, Department of the Air Force Small Business, or in essence Beyond Goals, which you could see from Mr. Malott's chart, over $10 billion spend, or like he likes to put it, kaboom, just a great fiscal year 24 for us, and exceeded quite a few of the socioeconomic categories, and just very proud of of everything that we've done for small business and will continue to do for small to seek and consider small business solutions, make sure they understand the importance of our small business industrial base and how to do business with us. We try to meet those defense industry solution products, services with mission requirements. You can also reach out to us. We can help you out if you need assistance getting a hold of a program office team. If you have questions, we can in essence be that liaison to help you get in front of that program team and get you additional information. In essence, what we do is, we promote effective outreach, which this is a part of the outreach program, working with the Small Business Administration, attending their matchmakers and other industry day events. We also counsel one-on-one with small businesses to help them out, to look over their capability statements and help them really get connected in at the program teams that we feel can utilize their solutions. And our main key, and like to foot stomp that, is we really push out on the mission, but really focus
Luke,
on.
we can't see your slides anymore.
Oh,
Not
okay.
sure what happened. Yeah, you cut out for a minute and then you came back on, but your slides didn't. Well, not a minute, for like, I don't know, 10 seconds.
Okay. Let me. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Okay, and so you're on what our office does. That's the slide I can
Yes.
see. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So really we push for, we advocate for the mission, but really push for those small business solutions and make sure, the program teams are aware of all the great small businesses that are out there and how they can impact their teams and help them out. This chart here just gives, in essence, the Air Force Lifecycle Management Center small business influence from a spend standpoint. AFLCMC accounts for around 66% of AFMC's total eligible small business spend. If you look at AFMC, they account for around 72% of the Department of the Air Force total eligible spend. And then from a standpoint, if you look at the small business dollars for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center for fiscal year 24, we had a strong year coming in at $4.5 billion and accounted for 44% of the total small business spend for Air Force Materiel Command. And they had a record year over $10 billion. This just gives a chart of the various centers under Air Force Materiel Command. AFIMSC is installation mission support. AFTC is the test center. AFRL is research labs. AFSC is the sustainment center. And then AFNWC is nuclear weapons center. This just kind of shows you a nice pie chart of our influence and total small business spend. This chart details the spend small business obligations for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. You can see 2017, and then we had just a great increase through 2021, kind of the peak of that of about $4.8 billion in spend, due to the global pandemic and being able to lean forward and obligate small business dollars to help with that global pandemic. And then, we saw a nice increase from 22 to 24. So just gives you a nice a chart graph representation. So as far as doing business with AFLCMC, make sure you have the UIE, make sure you understand the system for award management, specifically how you can search for contracting opportunities, work closely with your Apex Accelerator, with the Small Business Administration. And then, like Mr. Jeff Malott said before, if you looked at some of the colliders that they presented, there was an advanced SAM presentation where it went over features, kind of, hey, what do you guys recommend as, lessons learned or pointers of how you can search through SAM? Because a lot of times you're going in there, you're looking over at the NAICS codes, you're looking at maybe the Department of Defense activity address code, you're looking for key search terms so you can find those opportunities. As far as, another thing I'd like to point out on this slide, Mr. Malott talked about the Air Force Small Biz, where you can search for, see a list of contracting opportunities, but really would like to foot stomp the AFMC small business list that they have out there. And what's great about that is you can go to their website, not only get that nice PDF that he shows with all the director information, but then also you can click on the email link and then request an AFMC expiring contracts opportunity, and then drill down through that and filter that and look for opportunities. And that includes, everyone that's included under Air Force Materiel Command. And from my standpoint too, doing business with Air Force Lifecycle Management Center, remember a lot of times the first time you'll do business with us is through a subcontract. Understand the opportunities that are out there, some of the primes that are out there. Make sure you make those strategic partnerships, those strategic relationships, and also reach out to those primes, because they're always looking for innovative small businesses that can perform well. But make sure you understand the terms and conditions, and make sure you perform well on your subcontract and your prime opportunities. This just shows pointers for small business. In essence, the rule two. What I'd like to stop on this chart is, really make sure you respond to those sources sought, requests for information, the draft RFPs, really for us to be able to push for small business and enhance or impact acquisition strategies. It really happens early in the process. And, make sure you provide the information that enables us to then maybe see if we were able to set it aside for small business, or if we're able to carve out parts of the acquisition for small business. And then if for some reason it has to go full and open, we want to make sure that we understand the marketplace and understand that the other than small businesses, so in essence, your large primes, have aggressive subcontracting goals, and then you're able to, in essence, have an opportunity to subcontract. And we just want to make sure that we hold those primes and understand the markets that is currently out there, and that we give them good subcontracting goals. The next chart shows, just pointers, foot stomp again, respond to sources sought, request for information, and draft RFPs, attend industry day events. That's really key. You can get a lot of great information there. Make sure, draft RFP, please provide comments to them, understand the marketplace. The next one down there is consider teaming in order to strengthen your capabilities. Like I stated before, other than small businesses, they're always looking for innovative small businesses that can perform well. Look for other small businesses that you can team up with to understand the marketplace and how you can get those opportunities. But, make sure that you perform well. You already talked about attend industry day events, the colliders, which are great because they're free, and a lot of times they're hybrid, so in person and virtual. And we just covered, the gamut of small business hot topics, and they're just great to attend. And when they record them, it's even better, because if something comes up, you can access it. Next bullet down there, make sure you consult your local Apex accelerator. Make sure you reach out to your small business administration, PCR, procurement center representative. I know here at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, we have we're blessed to have Dr. Tom Kruzmark, who's the acting director, and then also Pock Dewhurst, who is the local PCR for us. So they just do a fabulous job, and that it's just wonderful, the relationship that we have, that strong relationship we have with the Small Business Administration and the Apex Accelerator. So thank you guys for all you do. Appreciate it. Search for contracting opportunities. I already talked about that before. SAM.gov. The Department of the Air Force has their small business website. The AFMC small business website. And then there's a lot of great information on the Air Force Lifecycle Management Small Business Office website, to include email addresses for the small business professionals, upcoming outreach events, how to do business with us, the org chart for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center, which they usually update monthly, and a lot of great information out there that you can use to help you out. Please, if there's anything else that you would like to see on the website, please send me an email. Please reach out to me so we can help you gain additional information and make it easier at doing business with Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. The last two, make sure you know the rules of federal government contracting. Make sure you understand the terms and conditions, what you're proposing to. Make sure you submit well-prepared quotes or proposals. Make sure you understand how we want to receive the proposal, whether it's electronic or not. The due date, please understand the due date for that. I know we've run into issues in the past where unfortunately the company did not submit in time. So just make sure you look over the proposals that you submit closely. And during that draft RFP stage, please provide comments back to the government acquisition team. Please reach out to us too, because we can convey comments that we receive through industry to the program team of kind of what they're hearing out on the street as far as industry on the requirements that's out there, and then we can get involved and help out and make sure small business is represented. Okay, the next charts is just going to be some data points. This chart shows the top 25 North American industry classification system, or what we call the NAICS codes, by obligations for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. So this is the top 25. This next chart shows the top 25 NAICS by small business obligations. This chart shows the spend by state, and this is by place of performance and is ranked by small business obligations. You can see it is in order of small business obligations. So you can kind of see that list and the place of performance at for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. So this one, before I talked about the primes, the other than small businesses that are out there, this is a list of the fiscal year 24 other than small businesses, some of the larger ones that do business with Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. Normally they have what we call as an SBLO, or Small Business Liaison Officer. They are looking for small businesses to help them for their subcontracting goals. They're looking for innovative solutions. And in the past, at our life cycle industry days, we would do a panel and kind of meet and greet with small business liaison officers. So that would help you connect with these entry points to help you do business with the other than small businesses. So this just gives you a list of some of the primes that we do, or the other than small businesses we do business with for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center for fiscal year 24. This one just shows spend by Department of Defense activity address code, which is important. You can kind of see Wright-Patterson Air Force Base up there, and the other Air Force Lifecycle Management Center locations. I'd just like to point out that, at Tinker, Hill, and Robbins, we have a strategic partnership with the Air Force Sustainment Center, and they help us provide support for us from a small business functional standpoint. This next chart after this just shows the Department of Defense activity address codes for the various bases for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. So this is just another useful piece of information that you can use to do searches on that. I know this slide, in the process of updating it too, there's been some updates to some of the DODACs that are out there for the program executive officers, or the codes for that. This next chart just shows, kind of a summary of opportunities that are out there. I know, EPAS, that covers, a lot of our services, advisory and assistance services. Um, in the middle, so PEO, Business and Enterprise Systems. If you look at their website, you can search on PEO Best or get their contact information for their small business director, Miss Yolanda McCain, on our website. They have a nice guide out there. It's called the Smart Guide, and that lists acquisitions for forward for 18 to 24 months. And then some of these other various locations that we have will do various industry days. I know recently, I believe it was March 10th, up at Eglin Air Force Base, they participated in AFCEA, the New Horizons event, and they had a small business panel up there, and they went over various opportunities. So you really want to look out there for the industry days that you can attend, where they talk about requirements and get those necessary points of contact. This next chart just shows, how to reach us, our small business website, a lot of great information on there. Calendar of outreach events that are coming up that we're looking to participate in. It includes the small business professionals, a lot of other useful information, along with the organizational chart for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. The other one too on the right is Air Force Research Labs. They have that small business hub where you can go to that website, and on the front page of that website, kind of towards the middle of the website, they list various colliders, and you can sign up for those colliders. So a lot of useful information on that website too. And you can also connect with them, upload a capability statement, and then click the various boxes on it to include who you're interested in reaching out to. Okay, this slide here, one of my last charts here, just shows the Air Force Lifecycle Management small business offices, headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. It also shows small business professionals located about 2 hours away. They service AFMC, Hanscom Air Force Base, Eglin, Maxwell Gunter, Lackland. We have an individual down there, and then it lists the various small business professionals and the various programs that they cover. And like I stated before, I just concluded the locations and the contacts at Hill, Robbins, and Tinker. Mr. Ronnie Hobbs is the Air Force Sustainment Center Small Business Director, and then his team helps support Air Force Lifecycle Management Center programs at Hill, Robbins, and Tinker. Okay, this next chart just shows the contact information, our org box, my telephone number and email address. It shows the various other operating locations and their contact information. I'd just like to point out on this, Miss Anita Jackson, she is just retiring, and so she is no longer at Eglin Air Force Base. Her deputy is Tina Mercer, and she's down there, and she monitors the small business mailbox or org box that they have down there. So this just gives a listing of the small business directors located at the operating locations, their contact information. Other than that, Jill, any questions for me or anything else that you can think of that you'd like me to cover? And once again, thank you very much for pulling this together. I really appreciate it, and very thankful for all the great work you guys do. And I know the SBA matchmaker that's held at the Nutter Center, the Ohio Matchmaker, we always look forward to it. It's a great event, and it's enabled us to really contact with various small businesses.
Thank you so much, Luke. It's always a pleasure to partner with your office and with the various small business offices within the Air Force. It's a wonderful collaboration. I'm glad you brought up the matchmaker, because this is the last day for the early bird registration. It's $125 through today. And then starting tomorrow until the actual matchmaker, it is $175. So, and that is per person. If you wanted to have an exhibitor booth at 350, and that includes two chairs and the meals for two for the actual event. I did see a question that I don't see now, but it was regarding cybersecurity and getting help for that cybersecurity registration. I know that Apex Accelerators helps with that. And there's Joey. I think he'll be positioned to answer that.
Absolutely. I typed the response
Okay.
in the Q&A, they should have that. But just for clarity's sake, that is separate from the Matchmaker event. The question was
Right,
if it can
right.
be found at the Matchmaker website. No,
Okay.
the Matchmaker website is only for Matchmaker stuff. So that is only going to be the Matchmaker registration, webinar registrations, and all that fun stuff. The Cybersecurity Assistance Program is funded through Department of Development. It offers free cybersecurity assistance to Ohio small businesses, and the link is in the Q&A to learn more about that. Or you can reach out to your local Apex Accelerator or Small Business Development Center to learn more about that program and how it might pertain to you.
Okay, thank you so much. And if any of you would like to attend the webinar trainings that are ongoing every Wednesday through pretty much the date of the matchmaker, which is April 23rd and 24th. Just go to the Ohio Business Matchmaker website. You can register for all of them or one of them, however many you would like to. So I just want to thank, oh, right there, look at that. Thank you, Joey. I want to thank everyone for participating today. Thank you very much to Jeff Malott and Luke Schultz for their information on doing business with the Air Force. And if this is your first time hearing about how to do business with the Air Force, you can't really walk away without feeling that your head is full of information. So it takes a while to absorb it, but the government really wants small businesses to participate and to be a part of procurement. So take it in small doses. You'll learn something every time you have the presentation or you hear it. Luke, I wanted to ask you the industry days. Those are in date, and if I remember correctly, like in June, July, May, like spring usually. Are you going to have one this spring?
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, the news was out there, I think, just recently, but unfortunately, they had to cancel Life Cycle
Okay.
Industry Days this year. So, but I think there's, we are really leaning forward as much as we can from an outreach standpoint, participate in the colliders and other things like that. But yeah, unfortunately, we had to cancel it for this year.
It's all right. It's nothing if not we're just adapting as we go. So I think that's the key for this year. But there's definitely the outreach opportunities with the matchmaker, the collider tomorrow, and then Jeff, I saw a full list of trainings available. So it's really important if you're new to government contracting to attend the trainings, attend the networking events, because you'll learn so much from your colleagues, your small business colleagues as well, more than you'll learn from government officials necessarily. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude today's presentation. The recording will be available on the Ohio Business Matchmaker website in about 24 hours. The slides will also be there. And the Air Force always has a very welcome presence at the Matchmaker. So we look forward to seeing you next month. All right. Thank you.